I'd like to introduce you to a rider-owned and operated local business in the Northwest that is known as Dashboard Skimboards, or DB. Since 2003, they've been producing a variety of flatland skimboards that is an easy and fun activity for all ages. When you own a dashboard, not only will you acquire a new and exciting summer sport, but you'll have a hobby that's relatively inexpensive compared to other outdoor sports and is a safe, great source of exercise. I have a question. Who here participates in any boarding sports, such as snowboarding, skateboarding, longboarding? Good. I'm glad to see that you guys are interested in that. My goal is not to deter you from the sports you already enjoy and pursue, but to inform you about an economically sensible summer activity. I understand that you're all college students and money can get tight, especially during the school year and towards the end, when during the summer you're looking for cheap entertainment. Other outdoor activities, such as snowboarding and surfing, are fairly expensive. On Burton's website, a low-end board starts out around $300, and the mid-range average price is about $500 and up. For surfing, boards start out around $500 to $700, and on Hawaii Surf Factory, one of their high-end boards is quoted at $1,100. So, as a student, deciding on cost for an activity is a key factor, and also what additional costs you incur. So, for surfing and snowboarding, your board isn't your sole price, isn't the sole cost. You have to take into consideration your gear, snow pants, jacket, goggles, lift ticket, season pass. Surfing, there's your fin, leash, wax for your board, and a roof rack so that you can transport it. Skimming can be your next summer sport for only a fraction of the price. Who here owns a pair of board shorts, bikini, and towel? Show of hands. Look around you. These are your new beachside buddies. I want to let you know that DB can offer you a skimboard for under $200. This is my personal board, which I love. The most expensive board, which is in the Pro Series, is the Mule Bamboo, which is $200. Boards range from about $135 to $200. The biggest benefit that DB offers to you as a customer is that you can customize your board to your liking, so your styles, tastes, and preferences, as well as your rider needs, can be achieved. You can customize the size, the style, the color of the foam, the logo, and the decal color as well. As well as cost, there are risks involved with outdoor activities. In comparison to skimboarding, surfing and snowboarding, injuries and risk are pretty high. Snowboarding, you can fall off lifts, there's collisions, head injuries. On the Emergency Medicine Journal, surfing, 17% of injuries were from contact with the seafloor, 3% with marine animals. So we're talking stingrays, sharks. You don't want to lose a leg because that would defeat the purpose. For skimboarding, most injuries are bruises, cuts, sand rash, sprains. The Emergency Medicine Journal also said that a lot of the injuries and falls are similar to skating, skateboarding, and rollerblading. But unlike snowboarding and surfing, you're not connected to the board, so you can avoid a lot of different accidents. So if you're heading towards a log, you can jump off so you don't hit it. Also, DB's Super Cush Traction, which is the foam right here, gives you a nice added grip, but also that you feel secure on the board. But DB says that it allows the riders to stomp landings without worrying about heel bruises. So it's good for impact. My younger brother has been a rider since 2006, and I got him quoted saying, "Even when I first started skimming, I didn't feel as willy-nilly on the board. I could keep my stance, and the foam base give cushion to my feet. Plus, you get a hell of a workout." The manager of the Lummi Youth Recreation and Wellness Department was also quoted in the Bellingham Herald in an article on skimboarding that said, "Through the experience of running, tossing the board, jumping to achieve the ride is a great way to stay fit, and couldn't believe how much exercise it was." So when you look at the different options, cost, the risk associated, and benefits that you gain, in comparison to other sports, skimboarding and what DB has to offer through their boards is cost effective and It's low risk and a lot of fun, great source of exercise. And the biggest benefit, you can stylize your board to meet your needs. So check out DB's website and their latest styles and board at shopdbskimboards.com. The holiday specials are on right now, so, and summer is right around the corner. So, thank you. Minor injuries include bruising, cuts, sand rash, and sprains, but it is also associated with other falls and injuries similar to skating, skateboarding, and rollerblading, as quoted by the Emergency Medicine Journal. But unlike other board sports where you're attached to the board, you're free to jump off of the skim board, so therefore it reduces the chance of getting jump off the board, which reduces the chance of getting into accidents, such as if you were on the mountain, you could run into a
sort of how to take your business presentation to the next level. I'll briefly go over some common mistakes people make when using PowerPoint, and then give you a tool that I hope you might be able to use in the future when making a business presentation to make you kind of stand out in the crowd. We've obviously all given presentations before. We've seen this slide several times, whether or not it's a fellow classmate or a teacher. Nobody wants to read a novel. It's boring, it shows a lack of effort, and it's just not an aid, and it's not visually appealing. Another common mistake that people might do is the text. You can't read this at all, so a good thing to keep in mind is to avoid unreadable colors or text sizes or fonts. Even if it looks fun, it's not necessarily the best. Transitions, definitely sometimes those can get a little obnoxious, especially if everything is on its own little time and you miss one thing or you accidentally go to the next slide. That can be something that throws you off and makes it look like you have not practiced your presentation, and especially given the situation, some situations should probably not be sound in a lot of transitions, no applause or drum rolls unless you're doing something really dramatic. It's a little obnoxious. And then finally, a problem that I know a lot of us run into is making sure that the links to web pages and the transitions into that are working correctly, because that can definitely throw off the presentation. And so now that I talked a little bit about PowerPoint, I'm going to tell you about a tool that you can use to take your presentation to the next level that Julie actually told me about. And it's a website called Prezi.com. I'll start by giving you a little overview on what Prezi.com is and how it kind of came to be. Two men in 2007 named Adam Somley Fisher and Peter Halassi. They're from Budapest. They decided that PowerPoint presentation slides weren't really for them. They weren't creative enough, they weren't self-expressive enough, and they were boring and didn't allow them to kind of give the presentations they wanted. So they decided to make a website that would allow you to be more creative. And it officially launched in 2009, April 2009 for Budapest, and their office in San Francisco opened in November 2009. Basically, the purpose of this project was to boost creativity and self-expression in presentations that goes past kind of just what you're saying. It's more how you're saying it and how the whole thing is laid out. And they felt the creators felt that this was not possible with the PowerPoint. We've all seen it. It's very overdone. And so the basic idea is that it's creative, it's also very user-friendly. When you sign up, there's a how-to video that shows you how to do everything, and they give examples, they give you tips on how to use it because it is so different from everything else out there. And it's very visually appealing and kind of cutting edge, which I think everyone is looking for in this market to kind of set themselves apart. And so basically what it is, it's like a virtual blank canvas. You open it and it's just a big blank space. And you can add text, pictures, and videos. And the really cool thing about adding videos, it kind of eliminates the hyperlink problem, is that when you get to that part of your presentation that has the video, it automatically starts playing. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, oops, I have to get on the internet and start my video. So I thought that was kind of cool. And because it's an online tool, it's available to you anywhere you are, as long as you have the internet. And so now that I kind of told you a little bit about it, I will tell you how to use it as soon as I get this. I made a very basic kind of how-to after I watched the video. So there's a few easy steps. You pick a background. And like I said, when you first register, the site provides a how-to video as well as written instructions on how to do all the little formatting, the very simple formatting things, and you can get more complex with it. My computer was kind of freaking out, so I did not. But basically, to start, you just double-click anywhere on the canvas, and you just start typing. And you just write. You can move it anywhere later, but really, you just double-click and start writing. It's pretty cool. And then, in order to develop your ideas, you can use a little zoom key on the side to kind of see how everything's, if you want to zoom out to see how everything's starting to look with regards to each other. And so that's pretty easy. And then they have a thing that they call a zebra, and what happens when you click on your already typed text, a little tool, this circle will come over the text, and the middle lines you would click to move the text anywhere on the page. So you may click it and type it somewhere, but you can move it anywhere on the presentation after that. And then the inner ring you use to size it, so you click it and drag out or drag in to make the text bigger or smaller, depending. And then the outer ring, you would click it and drag to kind of flip the text. And so that's kind of cool. And then they have an insert menu for pictures and videos. Like I said, all you have to do is just insert it, and the video will start right when you get to that point in your presentation. And then at the very end, you click Add Path, and you number everything, and it shows a line connecting how everything's going to play out when you give your presentation. And you can go back and edit it later, and it just kind of, that's how it knows how to go to the storyline, basically, of how to zoom in, where to zoom in at, when. So that's kind of cool. Do you have any questions? Yeah.
Is Prezi a free program online, or do you have time?
The free program online, that's what I signed up for. Yeah, you get the most basic one for free, and then you can pay more for to like access it offline or be able to download your Prezi and edit it offline. That's something you can pay a certain amount for, but you can sign up for free as well.
So, with your online program, did you have to like log onto their website and then log into like your username or something?
Yeah, I did that.
So you can get it like on any computer?
Yeah, as long as you have internet, you can get your Prezi. That's pretty cool. There were some really, they have a lot of examples on the website, and there's some really cool ones. You should definitely check it out.
Great, thanks.
Once a husband, once a father, and not one day goes by that he doesn't sit in his prison cell, wishing that the truth would unfold, wishing that justice would be served, wishing that he could take back the life that was taken from him, both his family, his freedom. Today we have proof that evidence was falsified in support of the malice of an overly prideful prosecution that couldn't stomach the fact that when the initial trial was dismissed, there were counts of an irresponsible and unforgivable investigation of truth, has done everything in their power to keep him behind bars. There is no truth in the conviction of Jeffrey MacDonald. I will demonstrate that the hypothetical allegations that help secure a conviction prove a weak motive, if that. And that investigative incompetence of the CID to seek further evidence of outside intruders into the home of the MacDonalds, which would dismiss allegations against my client, along with department coercion to omit a confession from Helena Stokely, was a failure of justice. The prosecution has created a bold and fictitious narrative, a narrative that has wrongfully convicted an innocent man, even been made into a bestseller. We all know that stories about the wrongfully accused and government malpractice doesn't sell as well as a story about a husband who unexpectedly snaps. beaten with a wooden club, blows to the head, abdomen, stabbed over 30 times in the neck, chest, and stomach, his pregnant wife. His children, battered and stabbed. No motive has been established of Dr. MacDonald except the pathetic culmination of a man hysterical with uncontrollable rage to his daughter wetting the bed, and an argument between spouses is the hypothetical determinant of violence the prosecution claims, which is an unthinkable and disgusting accusation. This, of course, comes at the cost of dismissing and rendering improbable the recollections of Dr. MacDonald that night. The prosecution claims he made up the entire story, says that his wounds were minimal, and that the stab that punctured his chest and made his lung collapse was self-inflicted. Medical records show that he suffered 3 different types of wounds, over 13 stabs to his hands, arms, and torso. 3 different types of wounds, 3 different types of weapons, gives credence to MacDonald's account of multiple intruders. During the assault, he said he woke to screams and recalled 4 assailants in his home, particularly a woman wearing a floppy white hat with blonde hair wearing a raincoat in the background. An MP that arrived on the scene after the emergency call was placed stated that not just 3 blocks away he saw a woman in a wide-brimmed hat wearing a raincoat standing in the rain. No effort to locate or render an alibi for Helena Stokely, the woman spotted that night, was made. In addition to the government's lack of effort to seek other suspects, those which were described by the defendant and admitted through testimony by Helena Stokely, a confession that she was at the house the night of the murders, were completely ignored. Lead prosecutor James Blackburn, when told of Helena Stokely's involvement, threatened her to change her testimony. Helena Stokely was in fact prepared to testify that she and other accomplices were at the MacDonald's the night of the murders and responsible for his wife and children's deaths. I do not believe that a loving husband would savagely beat and stab his entire family to death. If you are so quick to jump to conclusions and stomach lies and a misguided attempt to convict someone, then yes, MacDonald's an easy target. He was there. There was blood on his clothes. He pulled the pick from his wife's chest to remove it, to try to resuscitate her, not knowing that she was already dead. Back and forth from his daughters to his wife in a moment of panic, and due to the severity of his own condition, he collapsed, only later to be accused of such heinous crimes. Recollections of the horrors that night, a story of truth that would take nearly 40 years to surface, is in your hands, and I ask you to unfold the truth, let justice be served, and give back a life that was taken. Thank you.
Satisfaction! I can't get no satisfaction, 'cause I tried, and I tried, and I tried, and I tried. I can't get no, but we can get satisfaction. Satisfaction in our sexual life, for family planning, preventative care, and affordable services for both men and women who want to stand up, have a choice, take action, and get satisfaction. We are the women, men, low-income individuals, students, responsible, educated, and angry individuals who stand up now to prevent funding cuts of Title X. Yeah! Just this last February, the House voted to pass funding cuts for H.R. 1 and is now being sent to the Senate for a decision. H.R. 1 cuts would eliminate the nation's family planning program, Title X. Title X is the only federal grant program dedicated solely to providing individuals with comprehensive family planning and preventative health services. Title X funds are for people like you and me, that clinics like Planned Parenthood count on. Title X family planning serves more than 5 million women and men through a network of more than 45,000 community-based clinics. These are state and local health departments, hospitals, university health centers, community health centers, independent clinics, and other public and private nonprofit agencies. 1.6 million of these people were served by Planned Parenthood in 2010.
and 75% of these were making under $11,000 a year. Cutting Title X funds would cut contraceptive services and counseling, patient counseling and education, breast and pelvic examinations, breast and cervical cancer screenings, prevention education, counseling, testing, referral for HIV and STDs, and prenatal diagnosis and care. These rigid, religious right Republican extremists like Mike Pence, that voted to cut funding, are the ones who pushed this through the House and are sending it to the Senate. And the reason we need to stand up. They want to convince you that cutting funds are necessary because it cuts out funding for abortion. By law, Title X funds are not allowed to be used where abortion is a method of family planning, meaning it doesn't fund abortion as family planning. Cuts to Title X affects everything else, all other family planning and preventative care. In order to get satisfaction, we need to make sure that our senators know where we stand on the issue and to prevent funding cuts and the elimination of Title X. If they vote yes if they vote yes on H.R. 1, Title X will be eliminated. That means the affordable preventative care and family planning that people like you and me count on is gone. This could cause 170,000 STDs to be transmitted that could have been prevented through education and counseling and testing to prevent further transmission. 113,000 unplanned pregnancies due to lack of contraceptives. 36,000 undiagnosed cancers of the breast or cervix that with screening could have been prevented. This is in Washington alone. Imagine the detrimental effects that it would have nationwide if these funds were cut. So don't sit idly by. Get involved. Contact your senator and let them know where you stand. Go online to Planned Parenthood Action Center and sign the open letter to Congress. Take 5 minutes out of your day to secure health services for family planning. So stand up. Stand with Planned Parenthood. Take action against these cuts and get satisfaction. Woo!